Om Swaha. Welcome to another video. This is on Elon Musk because everybody's talking about him. Every astrologer has done giving you some information on him. So, he's just a really interesting person. So let's take a look at Elon Musk, not only from the Western point of view, but from the Vedic point of view. Now, Vedic is from India, Indian astrology. The India's astrology is sidereal. The Western is tropical. Okay, what's the difference between the two? And I'm not going to go into an elaborate discussion about how they come up, where their starting point is. But there's about a 24-degree difference. So if you're born, let's say for me, I'm born in the sign of Pisces in Western. In Vedic, I am born under the sign of Aquarius. So the sign before, unless your sun is at 23, 24 degrees beyond that point, then there will be a difference between both systems in your sun sign. So example would be if I was a Pisces and I was at 25 degrees of Pisces, I would be at around 1 or 2 degrees in Vedic of still Pisces. I'd still be a Pisces. But because I'm at 12 degrees of Pisces, I end up being in Aquarius in the Vedic. Now, some astrologers feel that, Vedic is more accurate, Western is less accurate due to the starting points. My feeling is this, that you're going to find, and I'm going to prove this today with Elon Musk's chart, that you're going to find that there are enough similarities. One system may say, like for instance, my moon is in Leo in Western, but it's in Cancer in Vedic. But in Western, I have Cancer rising, and in Vedic, I have Gemini rising. So you can see how, even though the rising sign has changed, Cancer is normally ruled by the moon. The moon being a Cancer in Vedic would compensate for the Cancer rising that I have in Western. So this is how I kind of try to balance. A lot of astrologers don't do that. They usually will pick a side and say, this is it. The transits and timing of events are going to be strictly Vedic or strictly Western. So I like looking at the Dasha periods, and I'll talk about that in India. Elon Musk is born, okay, and a really interesting personality. When you get to go on YouTube and hear about his life story, I was just listening to his brother. His brother is Kimbal Musk. They're not that far apart in age. Kimbal was born, I think, about a year and a half maybe before him. Let's see, Kimbal was born September the 20th of 1972. Okay, so he was born after Elon Musk, which is June 28th of 1971. Okay, and Elon Musk's chart looks like this. Okay, I got a lot of scribbles on here, but this is what his chart looks like. You can see that the date and time are on there. And the time I'm going with is 7:30 a.m., which is what most astrologers are going with. You can see the sun here in Cancer, Cancer rising, and Mercury in Cancer, all over here hovering on the rising sign in Cancer. The moon is in Virgo, okay? The moon's in Virgo. So really, you consider him to be a double Cancer because he has the sun and rising. Plus, he's got Mercury very close to the rising sign. And what is, when you think about it, Cancer it fits him in some ways because he loves children. You'll notice that he'll bring his kids. He just met with the Prime Minister of India yesterday. I'm doing this video on February the 14th, so happy Valentine's Day to everybody. He was meeting with the Prime Minister of India, and he brought a few of his children from, if I'm not mistaken, with him to meet the Prime Minister. So there is this Cancerian feminine mother energy, especially for men. I have Cancer rising too. So his is at 13 degrees. I think mine's at 10. And, we have this kind of compassionate, sometimes people may feel like we should be in a mother role, a caring role. Restaurant owners, a hotel management, hospitality kind of, professions. are into taking care of other people, in one form or another. So this is a part of Elon Musk that we're seeing is there is a family. He wants to have a family. God knows that's something that I've been through myself with. When you see families that are really close, you can get a little jealous because you lack this closeness in family life. Of course, being older, chronologically, I'm going to be 67 coming up on March 3rd. And we're not young anymore. I mean, we're young in spirit, but our physiology is functioning differently, a little bit differently than normal, especially if you don't meditate every day. I've been meditating for 46 years, every day, twice a day. So that helps release a lot of stress, from the nervous system and keeps me a little bit more youthful looking. And it keeps a lot less pain in my body. But at any rate, Elon Musk has got this, this family-oriented feeling in the subconscious mind. Now, the moon is a natural ruler, Cancer. So the moon changes phases quite often, doesn't it? It changes signs every 2.5 days. So there's this fluctuation of emotions. It kind of makes one a little bit more emotionally nervous. In the Gemini area, it makes one thoughts run a lot. So that can be a changeable thought pattern. Now, when you look at the elements and the qualities, okay, air, he's got so much air and so many mutable that are dominating his chart. 4 planets in the air signs, 5 planets are mutable. What sign is air and what sign is mutable? It's Gemini, So people, even though in Vedic he's a Gemini, he's born under the sign of Gemini in Vedic. His Vedic chart looks like this. This is the southern type of chart, where you can see that Gemini is actually the rising sign, not Cancer. So we have Gemini rising right here, okay? And you have the sun, instead of being in the 12th, it's in the 1st. So you see how I'm dovetailing that? So here we have a signature in the Western chart as Gemini, and we have Gemini rising in the Vedic. So then you got the emotional changeability of Cancer. Now his childhood is just ferocious. I mean, when I was listening to his brother, Kimbal Musk, talk about some of the experiences they had with the gangs in South Africa, is where he was living since the age of 17. And then when his parents got divorced, they moved to Canada. At around the age of 16, his brother had witnessed, there's 27, at that time, this was the 1980s, 27 gangs that were black, and then there was, I think it was 4, if I'm not mistaken, 4 gangs that were white. So there's these gangs that were in the 1980s in South Africa. And I'm looking down here at my paper because I wrote some notes. But, his brother, I mean, it was just unbelievable what he witnessed. A gang member, a few guys, I think it was four or five guys, beat up Elon Musk. This was when he was 16 years old, 16, 17. And they beat him up so badly that his face was unrecognizable. And he was in the hospital for a while, I think, for this. So we have Cancer, very sensitive Cancer rising. He's got the Virgo moon, so he's able to be emotionally detached. His brother, Kimbal Musk, is a Virgo. His Virgo's at 27 degrees. Well, Elon Musk Pluto is at 27 degrees Virgo. So you have that's a psychological mirror of each other's lessons that they're trying to learn. Elon Musk and Kimbal Musk are likely soul twins, and they have similar lessons on different levels. His brother Kimbal, I'm sorry I'm going all over the place, but you'll see that, I'm giving you a lot of information that you may not hear, because you have to go on YouTube and you got to read his books and everything. And I haven't read any of his books, but Kimbal Musk, I was watching a live interview. Kimbal Musk is different than his brother. Okay, he's a chef, a philanthropist, if that's the way you pronounce it, I'm sorry, and a restaurant owner. He's into sustainable farming and organic produce. He said that him and his brother would fight sometimes over business strategies. Okay, so they had differences of opinion, which is normal. They both mirror each other's lessons in a big way because, as I've just mentioned, Kimbal's sun in Virgo at 27 degrees, right on top of Elon Musk's Pluto, natal Pluto, and he was born at 27 degrees, both in Virgo. Virgo can be perfectionist. Virgo is into details, computer work, computer engineering. It involves a lot of detail and numbers and everything, and Virgo is very good at putting that all together, as well as Gemini. Mercury rules Gemini, and it also rules Virgo. So you can see those two signs coming up in their charts, in both their charts. Although Kimbal Musk is a much more, he's down to earth. You don't hear much about him, do you? That's because he doesn't want to be out in the media a whole lot. But he is also very wealthy and very much into the sustainability of food production. Okay, so he's really involved in, he cares about the world, and he's more of a humanitarian, is my point. Elon Musk has the same ability to be a humanitarian, but because he's been so broken from his relationship with his father and the relationship of getting beat up by these gangs, I went through so much that the crab has a protective shell around it. Okay, Cancer, very sensitive on the inside of the crab, but that hard shell protects it from shielding off the cruelties of the world. The crab sometimes, and most of the time, sidesteps, goes side to side. So I was born with Cancer rising, but my mother and my grandmother, very close to, were both born on the sign of Cancer. My high school girlfriend that I dated for almost 5 years, born on the sign of Cancer. My counselor, who counseled me due to my rough childhood. I grew up around a lot of violence. My stepfather was bipolar. I don't think he ever got diagnosed, but according to what I'm reading about Musk's father, he definitely sounds like he was bipolar, but he was like, I would say 5 times worse than my stepfather, even though at the age of, let's say, 8, 9, I witnessed a couple times my stepfather almost killing my mother. He was very violent. So this violence that goes on with those of us who are sensitive, for Elon Musk, the way that he escapes from it and doesn't want to deal with the pain is kind of in a very rebellious way. He has this rebelliousness of, I'm going to get you all back one day. I'm going to show you that I'm worth a lot and not just somebody that you can come and bully and beat up. Okay? And this is the difference between him and his brother. Is his brother got affected by it a little bit differently. He healed a lot of it a lot more by being with the earth, growing food, cooking food, playing the guitar, doing all these artsy kind of things, and connecting with the earth. Elon Musk wants to get away from the earth. He wants to go to Mars. Okay? He says, I'll show all these people. I'll eventually put everybody on Mars and get them away from this cruel planet called Earth. Now, that obviously isn't 100% mirroring him, and I don't know. I only know myself 100%. I don't know other people. But astrologically, I'm thinking that with that Cancer energy, he really got affected deeply. He really needs some serious therapy and some meditation and sitting still. That's his problem, is that he wants to run. And people who make a lot of money, the good side of it is you don't have to ever worry about paying the bills, and you can own a home that you want, go on a vacation that you want. But people who have a lot of money generally, not always, but generally, they don't develop themselves spiritually from within that much. The reason why is because they can buy themselves out of depression and loneliness and all the other things. And somebody dies in their family and they were close, and yeah, they get hurt by it, but they could buy a new car that day, and get over it. For those of us who don't make a lot of money, and I certainly haven't, I really have made average $25,000 a year my whole life as a musician, as an astrologer. Now, some people fall out their seat when they hear that. How the heck do you live on $25,000 a year? Well, when you have to, you find a way. But the good news is you have to face yourself more directly. Now, luckily, I've been meditating for 46 years. So I have some stability there. My mother became my best friend after my wife died of breast cancer 16 years ago. My mother passed away in May of 2023. So I miss her because we used to talk every other day for like 45 minutes. Again, that Cancer energy, the men with the Cancer rising or moon in Cancer or sun in Cancer, they tend to be very close to the mother or the grandmother or some kind of a female figure. That they get along with women better too, because they kind of understand the feelings that women have. They're able to be sensitive enough to that. But what my point is that he wants to escape. This is his escape. Why is he escaping in the chart? How do I know that? Sun in the 12th house. Okay, Sun in the 12th. Venus in Gemini here in the 12th. And Mercury's in the first, but, it's almost, you could consider in the 12th, there's 13 degrees, there's 14 degrees, only a degree off. And the 12th house is about escaping. It's normally ruled by Pisces. So now we have somebody who's got his sun in Cancer playing out in the environment of Pisces. And Pisces wants to escape. Where do you escape? You escape through, he's escaping through technology. That's what he's doing. It's another invention. It's another escape. It's an addiction. Don't we all have some kind of an addiction? All right. Unfortunately, for those who have, he's the richest man of the world. I mean, so when you have that much money, you can certainly feed a lot more of your addiction, depending on what it is. So in his case, it's escaping through going to Mars. All right. For those of you who are into extraterrestrials and UFO, which I am, you can see on a lot of my tapes on my YouTube, I talk about that we're going to have UFO contact sometime between May of 2025 and May of 2029. So that's a 4-year period. And I predict that Elon Musk, he is an extraterrestrial from the Orion system. The Orion, they'd had problems with the Orions, what were called the Orion Wars at one point. I fought on the side of the Pleiadians. I was a rainbow warrior, and in the order also of Melchizedek, the order of Melchizedek, and was trying to find some balance, between the Orions and the Pleiadians and other star systems that were going on there. So I predict with that date, between May of 2025 and May of 2029, that Elon Musk may have a personal experience with higher races. We all are going to have that. But he may be one of the key players in trying to integrate other races with this planet. He's going to be one of the players. There'll be hundreds of players in this. This isn't just one person show going on. It's not going to be like it is now for him. But he will, I do see him possibly healing his past history with Elohim consciousness light technologies that they have on the ships. Especially between the 7th and the 12th dimension, it's all light, Elohim light. If you ever read the book, The 64 Keys of Enoch by Dr. J.J. Hurtek, that gives a good explanation about the Elohim light beings in the higher dimensions. When they start to have connections with the 6th dimension, the 5th dimensional extraterrestrials, and they start introducing themselves to the planet, they're going to have these they call them med beds now. You lie in a bed, and based on Nikola Tesla, and his technologies that he brought when he was here. If you ever read a book by Nikola Tesla, Man Out of Time, I think Margaret Cheney is the author. I wrote a song for that after I wrote that book. You can listen to that on my YouTube account here under original songs. Nikola Tesla is really the foundation to the Tesla company. Nikola Tesla, he died with a nickel in his pocket. So his whole motivation was pure. It was all humanitarian. He invented alternating current, robots. He invented the first turbine engine, and et cetera, wireless technology. So Elon Musk is going to, when he gets into one of these med beds, kind of like a sun bed that you sit in, it will be set up with a technology where you can reverse the aging process. But now there's also, they call them exhilarating chairs, I think it is, the rejuvenation chairs and stuff that can heal, like what I do when I meditate, a year of meditation. Well, you could be in one of these med beds for, an hour, and that would be like meditating for 6 months. All of the stress gets released, all of the physiology gets balanced out, the aging process gets reversed, and all of Elon Musk's issues can be solved within a few months. In a few months, he's going to feel so healed from his past that he's going to want everyone to have a med bed. Okay, so I think this is the turning point for him, is the ET connection. Mars is, I don't know, he says he doesn't believe in UFOs and stuff, but we don't really know. I don't know if he really feels that way. He does hold a lot of secrets, with that 12th house emphasis. But between May of 2025 and May of 2029, we could see UFO contact, and he would be somewhat involved in that. It's going to make, their technologies will make him look like a baby playing with toys. That's how advanced they are. And that will not only dissipate his ego and put him more in a student role, but it also, people will know about him so much that they'll want to listen to him. Everybody's listening to him. Boy, this guy must have something going. He's the richest man in the world. I mean, and I'm telling you, I can't necessarily, I don't think astrology can come up with planetary configurations for somebody who is the richest man in the world. I mean, oftentimes you can see if someone is going to make some money, but I just don't, I'm not going to even go there, because that's just good karma that he had done in the past lives that he's getting back. But this relationship with their father is just, and I haven't studied about the relationship with the mother, but that could be emotionally detached, because he's got the moon in Virgo. He's got his moon in Leo in Vedic. Okay. So the moon in Leo, wants attention. But see, here's how the Vedic and Western dovetail. Here he has the moon in Vedic in, let's see, the moon is in the second house, I think. It's in the second house in Western. And let's see if it stays in the second. In the Vedic, it's in the third house. So obviously the second house is earning money daily. But I'm going to show you the progress chart, because the progress chart, everything, every birthday, the inner planets usually change a degree, except for the moon. The moon changes signs every two and a half years in the progress chart. So here's the progress chart. This wheel here, I put as the progress. Look at this. The moon, where is it? It's progressed in Leo. Where is his progressed sun? It's in Leo. And because the progressed moon's at 26 degrees and his progressed sun is at 27 degrees of Leo, in the second house of money earned daily, he's getting a lot of attention. He wants to be on stage. He wants to get up on stage and, do his strut. And here I am. I'm the leader. I'm the one. The attention. And boy, is this starting to rub up against President Trump. And he won't show it yet. He's going to wait. But I wouldn't doubt that, coming up within the next few months, even that soon, or if it takes, it may take a year, but there's going to be a little falling out going on. You know, if they don't, if they don't compromise. Just yesterday, when Elon Musk was meeting with the Prime Minister of India, you know, President Trump was wondering why he brought his children with him to meet. So there's going to be this thing like, he could literally, he's really taking the spotlight off of not only the president, but from the vice president too. So this is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Now, one of the reasons for him wanting to be so successful is because he's in a Rahu Dasha in Vedic. Now, in the Vedic system, they have Dasha periods. Each planet gets a certain length of time. Okay, if you're in a Sun Dasha, for example, it's 6 years long. If your Sun's doing well in your Vedic chart, you're going to have 6 years, going to be really good years in the area, in the house, and the placements, aspects to the Sun. If you're in a Moon Dasha, it's 10 years. The longest Dasha is Venus, it's 20 years. Okay. Well, he's in a Rahu Dasha, which is an 18-year period. It started at the age of 40. And what is Rahu about? Insatiable cravings for worldly power. All right. This started at the age of 40. Now he's about 53 years old. So he's gotten about 13 years where he has become the richest man in the world during his Rahu period. The Rahu period sometimes gets a bad rap because they feel Rahu is insatiable cravings for worldly power. It's selfish. It wants to get recognition. But generally, you get recognized during the Rahu period. President Trump was at the end of his Rahu Dasha when he became president against Hillary Clinton. And then he's now in a Jupiter period, in Jupiter Dasha period. Both Rahu and Jupiter are very strong in President Trump's chart. President Trump is benefiting from Jupiter because Jupiter is the guardian angel of the zodiac. So it's been very difficult and they get away with legal issues. And, they have the Supreme Court on the side. We've seen all that. So anyway, getting back to Elon Musk, till the age of 58, meaning April 26th of 2030, he's going to remain in this Rahu Dasha. So that is, when you look at his chart, I'll show it to you here, he has Rahu, which is the north node, by the way, in Western. That's what Rahu is, the north node. Rahu and Mars are in the 8th house. Here it is. Rahu and Mars in the 8th house. Okay. They're not really, really close, but they're pretty close. One's 27 degrees, Mars, and then 21 degrees is Rahu. Now, Mars is his Atma Karaka. Atma Karaka is the deepest desire of the soul. It's the reason why you want to come back to Earth and reincarnate here. And it runs all the time. It's not like you get a transit or a secondary progress and it gets triggered. It's always running, the Atma Karaka. And Mars is ruling the 11th house. Okay, it's ruling the 11th house because Aries rules the 11th. Ruling the 11th is money coming in periodically in large sums. So it's not a daily thing like a 9-to-5 job. It's more about being freelance, which is what he is. And then, of course, running the Rahu Dasha. So all the spotlight is on Rahu. I'm sorry. Well, I haven't figured out how to put these things up on. So here is Rahu, because he's in the Rahu period and Mars is nearby. Now, Mars can create Kujadosha. What is Kujadosha in Vedic? It's Mars in the 1st, the 4th house, the 7th, the 8th, or the 12th. If you're born with Mars in any of those houses, you have Kujadosha. Kujadosha creates domestic disharmony. This is obvious in his relationships when he was growing up. Now, normally the Vedic astrologers use Kujadosha mostly for marriage. In other words, if somebody has Kujadosha, better that they marry somebody else with Kujadosha to kind of offset and delay it till the next lifetime. I have Kujadosha. 40% of people on this planet have Kujadosha. And, we're the charismatic people. We're not the quiet ones. So we're passionate, and so divorce is common, is my point with those with Kujadosha. Elon Musk, I think, is on his 3rd marriage, if I'm not mistaken. He has 12 children, and so he's got a lot of passion. in this area. The problem with it is it creates domestic disharmony. And I even feel differently than the Vedic seers. I feel that a Kujadosha can create violence in a childhood, especially if it's in the fourth house. But that was my situation. I have strong Kujadosha, Mars in the seventh of marriage and one-to-one partnerships. So I tend to get criticized by people for anything. They just take things out of context, or I'm kind of paying for some karma that I misused in past lives and relationships. But they are very good with the romantic, passionate area but they tend to get into troubles in relationships with, as well as I do, if you've gone through a few relationships already, the passionate ones are the ones where the most jealousy is, and trying to control the other individual and all that there's a lot of drama around it. But he has Kujadosha. President Trump also has Kujadosha. So here you have two people that are President Trump has his Mars. I believe, I'm not gonna say for sure because I don't have his Vedic chart in front of me. But I think President Trump's Mars may be I had his chart here, but I don't have it now. Oh, here it is. Yeah, his Mars is in the 12th, I think. Either the 12th or the 1st house. And so, Kujadosha people tend to are hot-headed sometimes, etc. They're mean, whatever. So Elon Musk has the Kujadosha. He has even transiting Saturn right now, squaring his birth Venus. So I would say over the next month, he's not giving his wife enough attention. Okay, that could be a problem. But so that's some of the information that I've come up on Elon Musk. I mean, even there's like the variety of in South Africa during the 80s where they had, listen to this. Elon Musk left South Africa. It had less to do with his father, it's saying here. His relationship with his father, according to his brother's explanation that I saw on YouTube, Kimbal Musk, the father was really psychologically abusive. This is a statement from Elon Musk about this that was written up that I'd read. Says that it looks like Erol was his father's name, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it's saying. He has reportedly gotten into, this is his father, into a relationship with his own stepdaughter and fathered a child with a woman 42 years younger than he. Musk said of him, almost every crime you could possibly think of he has done. Almost every evil thing you could possibly think of he has done. He was such a terrible human being. This is his father. Now, my father was a full-blown alcoholic, and he really was. I mean, he would be on this, he would be arrested, if he lived at this day for various crimes, full-blown alcoholic, And so I can understand some of what he's saying. But according to his brother, his father sometimes would go on and on. He had like a bipolar thing where sometimes he was so loving, and then other times he would psychologically come at them for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, of just ranting on about how they should conduct their lives, and especially with business. So there was a lot. So the reason why I'm giving you that is because when you take the astrology charts into consideration with their upbringing, it really is important to do that. Astrology doesn't cover every little detail. It gives you insight, but it's not. A lot of times I have to hear the client talk a bit, before I can really, oh yeah, that's it. And I start connecting dots in the astrology that I wouldn't have gotten just by analyzing the chart on its own. So I hope this has helped you understand Elon Musk. The only thing I fear about him is that he tends to not be too humanitarian. When you're firing people in government departments and taking over their lives. I mean, these are people who are showing up at the Department of Education or whatever, and the doors aren't even open. I mean, it really is a childish way of dealing with issues that they want to deal with. Why not figure out, use your creative intelligence to figure out how these people can maintain the jobs they have, but run the department more efficiently rather than just firing everybody. Not everybody's the richest person in the world, you know? And so this is a thorn, excuse me, this is a thorn in the side of the United States of America. And it's going to happen with other leaders too. There's an overstepping of boundaries. There is a disrespect. We vote because they're supposed to be helping us, serving the community, serving the United States. We're not voting for them because we work for them. They work for us. And so, excuse me, I think that this is a huge lesson that he's going to have to learn. I think he should talk to his brother more, Kimbal, because Kimbal is more down to earth. He's more into helping people grow organic vegetables, and he owns a restaurant. He's a chef. Sustainable farming is one of his big things, and organic produce. So I feel like Kimbal is probably the rock and anchor for Elon. But I think the turning point, I'll end with this saying, the turning point is Elon Musk connecting with extraterrestrial races that have higher technology that he's blown away, that they are so advanced. They're at least, they could be, some of them, the least amount, 3,000 years ahead of us. That's the least. The most, 10,000, 100,000, maybe even a million years ahead of us. In the upper 7th and the 12th, the Elohim light technologies that they have. Lord Ashtar, the Ashtar Command, talks about that in his dissertations with Sister Tuella in her books. And I'll leave it at that. I have plenty of videos that you can watch. Please click a like, click subscribe. And I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to this video. And I wish Elon Musk and everyone the best, but especially, please, children starving around the world, the U.S. aid projects. Cynthia McCain, who is she's executive director of the World Food Programs. And last I heard from her a couple of months, she needed $15 billion just to feed all these starving children, and in different areas, whether it's the slums of India, Africa, South America, Philippines, everywhere. And so I pray that Elon Musk and anybody who's got the international banking families especially, that they will come forward and try to put some attention, not run away and escape to Mars, okay? But put your attention on Earth. Mother Earth needs billionaires and millionaires to invest in her, and she deserves it. So that's what I'll end on. Om Swaha.